Hi everyone, hope you're doing good. Swati and Vinayak from the Dram Club. We are here because we recently hit 10,000 followers on our Instagram, and thanks to all the love and support from you guys, we've managed to achieve that. Vinayak and I have been discussing that we should start engaging more regularly with you guys. So what better way to do it than start a video series? Yeah. So here we are doing our first video. Vinayak and I get asked a lot during our events, conversations, and even on our handle a lot of times that how did you guys get into whiskey? Vinayak, what was your first whiskey? Swati, how did you start drinking whiskey? How did Dram Club come into being? So that's where the inspiration for this video comes from. We said we will tell our story and the story of Dram Club on how it started. So as you can see, there are 3 bottles on that side and there's 1 bottle on this side. That's purely because Vinayak's been having whiskey for much longer than I have been having. Right. And so Vinayak, I think it's only right that you tell your part of the story first.
Sure. Happy to kickstart the storytelling series.
Yep.
I started having whiskey in 2008 when I was living in Paris.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You were in Paris.
Yeah.
You were having whiskey.
Yes.
And you were not having the wine.
Nope.
Absorb that.
Well, you know, I'm a bit of a rebel, and having whiskey when I was living in France, was my way of sort of rebelling against the French, which in hindsight was a very stupid idea, because now that I'm back in India for good, I regret. I mean, I
not
missed
having
out.
the French wines.
I was young and wild.
Whiskey now.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. So coming back to the whiskey, 2008, the first whiskey that I had was Jack Daniels. This is where I started with, but not the Sinatra Select, because I don't think they had released the Sinatra Select. Then it was a regular, humble Jack Daniels. I'm a big Al Pacino fan, and I was watching Scent of a Woman, in which Al Pacino's character was having Jack Daniels. And I said, oh wow, if Al Pacino is having Jack Daniels in a movie, it must be a lovely whiskey. So I hop across the road the next day to a Carrefour, which is a local supermarket, and I get myself a bottle of Jack Daniels. Started having it every other night until I met a gentleman who offered me Chivas 18.
Wow.
And this right here is Chivas 18. And when I had it, I was like, wow, this cannot be whiskey, because the difference between your regular Jack Daniels and Chivas 18 was huge. And that's when I sort of woke up to the fact, or realized that, you know, having whiskey could be such a diverse experience and such an engaging sensory experience as well. So that was the initial phase. And around 2015, 2016, so I'm a big coffee fan. I love my coffee. I was reading some article, I don't know what exactly the article was about, but Dr. Bill Lumsden, who is the master distiller or head of distillation at Glenmorangie and the Ardbeg Distillery, 2 of our favorite distilleries. He is a big coffee fan, and while he was having his coffee, he wanted to develop or create a whiskey which would have aromas and flavors similar to that of a coffee. And that's how the Glenmorangie Signet was created. And I was like, wow.
It even looks like...
Yeah, it's a gorgeous bottle. If you haven't had Signet, please do try it. So coming back to the whiskey again, I was like so fascinated by this whole story, right? You know, that actually you can create a whiskey without changing the cereal or without changing the grain, because, you know, you just stick to your barley, just change the way you roast it. And you can actually create notes and flavors of coffee. And this was all I had read then. Until I had Signet, I could actually get the notes of coffee on the nose and my palate, and I was like, wow. So that's when I started appreciating the whole science and craft behind the whiskey making process.
Okay, so I was a hardcore rum and coke person, but then slowly I wanted some new variety to drink and was looking to try something new. And so at an office party, one of my colleagues, and Sai, if you're listening, thanks to you for this, Sai introduced me to this Isla Classic.
Oh, that's a cult.
Yes, the Lagavulin Lagavulin 16, and he said, you know, if you like this, then you will definitely enjoy whiskeys. And when I had the first sip, I was just literally in awe. It is sublime, it is smooth. There are so many complex flavors that come, and then there's this very familiar Lifebuoy kind of a smell in it. So
You didn't get the peat that time?
So honestly, I didn't know peat at that point in time. It
Okay.
was one of my first few whiskeys and all, and that's when I started trying new whiskeys. You know, how do they taste? And during my travels, I would pick up stuff. I would share it with Vinayak, and you know, so that's what piqued my interest in whiskeys. But I think for me, the game changer was a Scotland trip that we did in 2019. One, of course, it's a breathtaking place. It's just so beautiful that you fall in love with Scotland. And it's not very difficult to fall in love with whiskey also, because it's so ingrained in their culture. They talk so passionately about it. You visit new distilleries which you've never probably even heard of. So like, you remember we went to Balblair.
Yep.
Balblair is a very small, quaint distillery in the Highlands, and we've not heard about it. But when you went there, the way they treated us, they gave us a nice tour. There were certain stories that they told us about it. So I think just...
They were actually shut that day, but because they saw us going towards the gate,
yeah.
I mean, the visitor center was shut that day.
But they made time for us.
Yeah,
they took us around. And
because they got excited that we've come all the way
from India.
And they didn't want us to go back empty-handed or without the Balblair experience. So
yeah. So I think that was a phenomenal experience. And then, of course, I think the same day or a day before after, we picked up this whiskey from a big wine supermarket actually, called the Wolfburn. And so when we started talking about it with some locals, and also they told us the story that, you know, where the distillery is now made, it was demolished years ago, and then when they recreated the distillery, they could only find like one stone remaining. That was my tryst with the whiskey, and actually that's where we decided that we want to start the Dram Club.
yeah,
We wanted to bring those stories, bring those experiences back to people here, tell them our experiences, and create a platform where even other people can come and tell their stories and their experiences. And that was the inspiration behind Dram Club.
Yeah, and India is a big whiskey drinking nation, and you know, it's sort of, we felt, okay, let's spread the word out, you know, about what makes whiskey so special. I mean, so that's where the idea was, to reach out to more people, to create a community, to create a platform where people just come and appreciate whiskey. That's about it. And that's how the whole journey of Dram Club has been, and the endeavor has been to create a community and a platform where people meet to enjoy whiskeys and talk about the whiskeys. That's it. That's what Dram Club is all about. Just came up with a rapid fire round for you. So,
Yeah.
are you okay for it?
Absolutely. Go on.
Cool. So here's the, okay, so probably 4 or 5 questions. Let me see how many questions.
Yeah, but then you also have to answer them.
Okay, fair. So, what did you have last night?
I had the Lagavulin 19, which is a festival edition.
Oh, okay. First distillery that you visited?
Glenmorangie.
Oh. Okay, later. I'll answer later. If not whiskey, what else will you have?
Rum or wine.
Okay. What else? Best distillery tour that you had?
The Balvenie.
Okay.
What about you? What did you have last night?
Last night, what did I have? I was having rum.
Which one?
Bacardi 10-year-old.
Which was your first distillery?
Macallan.
Wow. Which is your next whiskey destination?
Ireland.
And if you're not having whiskey, what would you be having?
Rum and cognac, because I'm trying to make up to the French or France. Spirits of France.
On that note, guys, thank you so much for listening to us. We hope you enjoyed our video.
Yeah.
And if you did, please subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share. And you can also put in suggestions of what kind of videos you would like us to do, and we will be more than happy to come back to you with them. Yeah. So this is Vinayak and Swati signing off from the Dram Club. Please stay safe and hope you guys do well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.